Hello guys and girls listening to this is Rija. So today I'm gonna bring you some r/entitled parents posts, because we all know that you guys and girls listening love these r/entitled parents videos. But we don't have to pretend, there are plenty of other channels that are doing the same kind of videos. So to make my videos a little different, I decided to do something, well, different. These posts are super new. They are fresh from the oven, as you will say. I'm doing this because, I don't know, I really don't watch other channels' videos, maybe sometimes, but not usually. But I think maybe it's boring for you when I repeat or other channel repeats posts from other videos. And that's why I decided to only include the newest post from this subreddit. I'm talking about I'm including posts that were posted less than an hour ago. So without further ado, let's start with r/entitled parents, newest posts. You are a girl, you don't need your computer. Okay, so this happened a month ago. My grandpa, he isn't related to me at all, but I had known him since I was born, so it's just easier to call him grandpa. Brought my brother, me and his actual grandkids to Florida for his anniversary with his wife. It was a huge surprise. Anyway, I had my computer because I still had to do work and school stuff. Yay! So I was sitting there at the pool, making sure my niece didn't get hurt, doing some work. I absolutely hate working, and so I was playing other games. I didn't notice when the seats next to me were taken by a family. The kids were super sweet and the dad was really nice too. The mother, however, wasn't. She was watching me and her youngest, there were 3 kids there, 2 boys and an older girl, kinda just leaned over and asked to play a game. The mother looked at me and sweetly asked, "Can my little insert child's name play your computer?" I shook my head and said, "I'm sorry, this is my mom's computer. I don't want to hurt it." She just looked at me all shocked and was like, "Where's your mom? I'll go ask her then." Now, my mom was back home 22 hours away at work. I told her so and she got kind of angry. "What the hell do you mean? Who brought you here?" "I have anxiety." See another post I made. And I was getting a little freaked out and I told her my grandpa. Although I didn't say grandpa, I said his name. She yelled at me and suddenly turned to me and said loudly, "You are a girl, you don't need a computer," and leaned over and went to take the computer. The daughter just told her mom to stop. The mom glared over at her and told her to shut up. At this point, one of my grandpa's sons came over and saw what was happening. He came to my rescue and told the woman to stop. She asked who he was and he basically told her that he was a relative, which isn't a whole lie, but still. He told her it was my computer and that she needed to leave me alone. She was still freaking out when her husband pulled her away and told her to go do something. She glared at all of us and just stormed out of the pool area. I was admittedly shaking and I just closed my computer. The father was really apologetic and he told me he was so sorry. I said it was fine and just watched my nieces and nephews play in the water. The girl stayed with me and we talked for a while. Of course, the woman came back and she yelled at me for not sharing with little kids. The girl got upset and just told me goodbye and dragged the mother off to their rooms. I saw the girl again a few times, but those are stories for other times. Anyway, moral of the story, people in Disney are jerks and I hate them. So this is one of those stories where the only person that makes a mess is one of the entitled parents. It's just one person and the kids don't even care about what they are mad. So parents, take a hint, if your kid doesn't care, you shouldn't either in these cases. EM assaults a customer, a coworker and myself over not getting free food. So I work as a kitchen hand/waiter in a restaurant that's connected to a bowling club. I have been working here for about 2 years now and I have had my fair share of unpleasant customers, but this one takes the cake. EM is entitled mother, ED is entitled father, EK is their son, was actually quite nice. CW is coworker and me is myself. So as some may know, working in a restaurant, especially a busy one, can be quite difficult on some nights if there are promotions or happy hours. On Thursday, the bowling club hosts a poker night and one of the prizes is a free meal ticket for every game you win. Normally, most of our regulars tend to win, so it's normal to see them, but at times we do get a couple of new faces. On this night, I was working as a waiter for the night when I spotted a couple and their son that I have never seen before. I greet them, give them a couple menus, and walk off to deal with other business. At around 7:30, which is the break time for poker, we get a lot of customers and some of those customers have the meal tickets I mentioned. One of our regulars came over with 2 meal tickets, one for him and his girlfriend. At this point, I see the EM come over to the till and casually ask if she could have one of the tickets as her kid wanted more food. He told her no, and this was what unfolded. Excuse me, are you that selfish that you will allow a child to go hungry? Mind you, they order a lot of food and the kid barely ate anything. Sorry, but we're also hungry. I can't believe you, you selfish pig. Ma'am, please calm down, you are disturbing the other customers. Who are you to tell me what to do? I'm just trying to be nice, ma'am. If your son needs more food, I'll happily cook up a bowl of fried rice for him. At least you know how to treat a woman. I feel bad for your girlfriend, you pig. She then walks back to her table in a big fuss and starts complaining about the poor service we are providing. As I was finishing up the till and got to taking food out, I brought the couple their food, 2 sweet corn and crab soups, and take me for the quick defuse. As soon as I walk back into the kitchen, I hear a scream from the outside. EM attempted to take away her food and spill it all over the customer. The girl was screaming in agony over multiple burns, and myself and a coworker rushed out with a wet towel and wipes. See what happens when you refuse to help a child, you dumb b****. Stay away now, ma'am. Don't you dare talk to my wife like that again. We need to call an ambulance now. Me, go tell the bar staff to get some ice. I rush over and they bring over the tub of ice they will use for drinks, and we quickly start patting her down with wet towels and ice. Everything was cooling down until my CW and the boyfriend then noticed the couple were trying to leave. Oi, get the f*** back here, literally sprinted at them. Stop right now, the dad responded with, don't you come near me or I will f*** knock your teeth in. Hurry up, EK. The boyfriend managed to swing a hook at ED, but he blocked it and ED kicked him right in the nuts. Both EM and EK made it out the door, but security were waiting and they quickly ran back in. My CW managed to help out the boyfriend, and as he was about to get him up, ED swung at CW and clocked him in the ear. With both CW and the boyfriend down, I ran over to see if they were alright, and ED tried to grab me by the hair, to which I slapped it away. Stay the f*** away from us, and ran towards the door. As we were being held up by some of the staff and customers, one of the guards who I have known since I started working here comes from around the corner with ED in an arm lock that looked like he was about to snap his arm off. Things settled down as the girl was taken to hospital for multiple burns. My CW and I were a bit spooked from the incident and didn't say much for the time being. As police rolled up, we were asked by co-workers multiple times if we were okay and that we might not be in a good headspace for questioning. I wasn't too keen on it, so my CW took the bullet for me and explained it first. After customers and staff were questioned, I was surprised when I looked up to a young boy standing in front of me crying, with an officer next to him. I'm really sorry, burst into tears as he hugged me. It's okay, it's okay. I feel bad for the kid that he had to not only go through that experience, but I reckon his parents are always like this. After about 30 minutes, the couple were taken into custody, and that was the last time I saw them. My boss is now extremely overprotective whenever a customer starts to argue or cause a scene with me or my CW. In the end, we ended the night with a final game of poker, to which one of the regulars who is in his 60s won with a royal flush, and we gave him 3 meal tickets. So sad to think all of this was over a free meal. My entitled mom gives my property to my nephews without my consent. I'm a first-time poster here, having gotten interested in this Reddit by watching some YouTubers cover it, and at the prompting of my friend, decided to add my own story. I'm on mobile, so apologies for formatting and in case this rambles. Hey, hi, I'm Nab. I don't know if you're my fan, but, well, I'm narrating your story, so hopefully you like it if you're listening to this. Some context on me first. I am a 22-year-old woman who, due to unfortunate circumstances, currently shares an apartment with my mother and my aunt, but I'm saving up to move in with my girlfriend eventually. I'll also be referring to myself as Nab in this. The entitled parent in this story, it turns out, is my own mother, although in the context of what I'll be talking about, she is more of an entitled grandmother. Before getting into that, it's important to give some context for how my mother has always acted towards me so you understand her mentality. She's absolutely never respected my personal space or accepted when I told her no over something. She just flat out doesn't seem to understand the concept of boundaries, and it's really hurt my trust with her through the years. 2 brief examples of her flippant disregard for how her actions hurt me is when I was only 7 years old and we left my dad due to financial friction between him and mom. I was naturally upset and confused like any child would be, and began to keep a diary to put all my thoughts and feelings into. However, she caught me writing in it, and that night called me out onto the back porch, demanding I bring my diary with me. She sat me down and then proceeded to silently read from my diary in front of me, and then yelled at me afterwards about what I had written, saying that what I was feeling was wrong, and demanded I erase it all and write something else. She then needed to approve the revised version. The second time she did this, I decided to not keep a diary anymore. The second example happened just last month. She outed my sexuality to part of my family without my knowing, only informing me the next day she had done it for seemingly no reason other than she didn't think I would care. A spoiler alert, I did, as no one in my family is open-minded at all. She would be the only family member I had told about my sexuality, and I even regret telling her as soon as I did, for reasons I would rather not get into. She couldn't understand why I was upset and doesn't care about the negative consequences that have risen from this. The basic point I'm getting at with those two examples is that she just does and says things without ever considering how it will upset me, and feels she's entitled to do whatever she wants regarding me because in her mind I'm just overly sensitive. So with all that clear and out of the way, onto the story. And what I'm going to be telling isn't a one-time instance, just the most recent, as this happens all the time. Now, one of my bigger hobbies is collecting figures and figurines. In particular, I enjoy collecting The Legend of Zelda and Harry Potter, but I'm prone to getting anything that catches my eye. I buy these figures with my own money and I take very good care of them and have most of them set on display shelves. I am very particular about them as some are extremely expensive and very unique. If something were to happen to them, I'll be out of luck. Enter my nephews, who I will be referring to as N and B from now on. N is older at 5 years old while B is only 3. Make no mistake, I love my nephews, but they can be absolute brats at times. Growing up, their mom, my sister-in-law, never taught them the meaning of the word no, and as a result they were given everything they asked for, and bad behavior was rewarded. In example, I'll get you the toy if you stop screaming. I lived with my brother and his son for a time, so I saw this happening and knew in the future they'll be unruly. But I was always told it wasn't my business. My brother and his wife are making an effort to undo that bad behavior now, but it's been ingrained in them, so it's an uphill battle they are currently losing as my nephews continue to wreak havoc and cause chaos whenever they are told to behave. The only person who isn't trying to reinforce good behavior is my mom, who, particularly with B, who she shows very obvious favoritism to, continues giving in to whatever they want, which includes giving them free range to all my figures. This past weekend they came over and immediately made a beeline straight for my shelves, and my heart sank as they began to snatch them off. I have explained several times to both my nephews and my mom that these figures are not toys and to please not play with them. They can look, but please don't touch, or at least if they are careful, I can supervise them holding them. But whenever I try and explain this, they outright ignore me. I know with kids they might not understand the difference between just a toy and a valuable figurine, so in the past I tried to patiently explain to them the difference, but my mom undermined me by cutting in with, "They are just toys, Nap, stop being so selfish and let them play," thus undoing my efforts to teach them anything, much to my annoyance. And if you are wondering why I don't just hide my figures, I have, but my mom either forces me to get them out or just goes through my things herself to find them, usually while I'm still asleep in the morning. On the occasions my nephews spend the night, which is nearly every weekend, I sleep like the dead, so she knows she can do this without me realizing and stopping her. The incident in question was no different, with me waking up to see my display shelves in disarray, with several figures missing or knocked over. Naturally I got angry. Now, if my mom was just giving them my figures to play with, yes, I'll be frustrated, but I'll try and understand that they are just kids and don't know any better despite me trying to explain it to them. But she doesn't just let them play with my figures, she lets them keep them too. She literally gives away my property without my consent, even though I have asked her over a dozen times not to do that, but every time she goes behind my back and does it anyway. This weekend she and I had another blow up about it that went like this: "They can't just have them, you need to stop giving them my things. They are just toys, Nap, you are a goddamn adult, you need to act like it. You are not even doing anything with the toys and you are too old for them. They are still my figures. I'm tired of waking up and finding half my stuff gone because you just give them to N or B while I'm asleep, and you do it while I'm asleep because you know I'll get mad. I have asked you again and again to stop doing this, please, I'm trying to be polite." No, you are being a stuck-up. You really need to get over yourself, Nap. They are kids, but you're acting like a child. They are not hurting anything and you can just buy more. This is the third time you have given B my Niffler figurine because I do keep rebuying it, but because he keeps losing his, you just keep giving him mine. Also, about her saying them not hurting anything, it's blatantly untrue. Every time I ask my nephews for my figurines back after they have had them for a while, one of three things happen. They outright refuse and tell me no. They start to have a tantrum, which often entails hitting me, crying and screaming, at which point my mom will swoop in to defend them as angels and tell me to leave them alone, or they will throw whatever figure they are holding and scream or growl at me. Hell, they have even beaten me multiple times. B had just done this himself before my argument with mom. He's more prone to options 1 and 3, while N is more prone to the second. I had asked B earlier for my figurine back, a life-size replica of the golden snitch from Harry Potter, and at first he had held it away from me and told me no. It was early in the morning as I had just woken up to the disarray of my figurine shelves and lacked the energy to just fight with him on it, so I told him he could hold it for a few more minutes but then had to give it back as I, once again, gently informed him that this wasn't a toy and belonged to me. He didn't like that answer, screaming, "No, it's mine," before letting out a growl at me, proceeding to throw the snitch at the wall afterwards and break it one of the wings. I tried to get onto him for this, but he just growled at me again and bit me on the leg, making me yell. That's when mom stepped in. "Stop yelling at him, he's just a baby." He's not just a baby, he did that because he got mad. You can just let him get away with that, he broke my figurine. So, just go buy yourself another one. He was playing with it just fine before you had to go and upset him. If you had just left them alone, they'll be happy. I can't just go buy another one, and I shouldn't have to. You need to make him mine because he won't listen to me. I don't have to make them do anything. I'm their grandmother. You just need to get over yourself, shut up and leave them alone. All you do is aggravate them. You don't have the right to get mad at them when they are just children. Much like every time we got into a spat about this, I just gave up because it's not worth the headache. I couldn't even fix the snitch because B took the broken wing and promptly lost it. When I tried asking him to help me find it, he refused and mom said it was somewhere in the apartment and I could look for it later. Once again, telling me to leave my nephews alone. I have willingly given them some of my cheaper figures in the past, hoping this will satiate them and maybe get them to stop taking my more expensive things, but it didn't work. They still demand my other figures I tell them they can have, making them have tantrums, which my mom only escalates by telling me I have to give them my things because they are just toys, and I'm an adult who doesn't need them, and I'm just being greedy and rude to them. I don't know if it's all her anger or my attitude about this, but I almost wonder if this should be posted on the "Am I the asshole" subreddit instead. Am I wrong for getting so worked over this? I am just so tired of my mom not at all having any respect for my property or my feelings, believing she's entitled to just give my things to my nephews because they want it. Even though I have been very verbally outspoken several times about how much this upsets me, she just lets them have, play with and break whatever they want. But when I get, in my opinion, rightfully upset, she just says I have no right to be mad. It's beyond infuriating at this point as this happens so frequently, and if you are wondering where my aunt is in all of this, she just usually sits back and watches without saying a word. Again, sorry this is long and probably aimless, but this happens so often and I needed to vent a little. I just hope that after I move out I can finally admire my figures in peace without fear of them getting destroyed or given away. Whew, so that was a long post. And yeah, to Nab, if you're listening to this, I'm gonna send you a PM on Reddit, hopefully you watch this video. I have also had little kids play with my figures and I just like cringe and I don't like that. Like I feel like nauseous when little kids play with my things, especially with figures and stuff. So yeah, I think you're totally right about this, and I would really hate to be in your shoes, to be honest, because I also like to collect a lot of stuff, for example games and manga and figures. Well, not anymore, figures not really, but yeah, if my mom was like that, I'll probably, I don't know, I will be as angry as you, if not more. So hopefully you can move soon.